Alright guys, so we say to ourselves, my wife doesn't respect me. I know exactly how that feels. I know how you feel, my brother, because I've been married for almost 12 years, and it's amazing how disrespected you can feel. The first 5 years of our marriage, I was just really dumb. Really, really exceptionally stupid. I had no skill. I had no trade. I had nothing that could give her any kind of hope that I was career minded. So the first 5 years was was rough. First 5 years, she could not expect me to hold down a job. It was it was nasty. It was just so nasty. So 2005 we got married. 2010 comes along. I went back to school. I took action and I said to myself, I'm just going to do it. I took a 2-year course in electrical maintenance and construction, and I graduated with a 3.5 GPA with a concentration in electrical control systems. Now, if you don't know what a programmable logic controller is, don't worry. If you work in a manufacturing setting, I'm the electrician that they call in to go fix the thing. So when the whole process kind of shuts down, they send in the controls guy. They call him the electrician. Yeah, electrician. But, the more sophisticated stuff is on the control systems guy. That's my career. So when I graduated, I got I got out of I got out of school and I went to work for a company that worked on water treatment plants. Best job ever. That job. I would still be at that job to this day. Had my empl had my employer taken advantage of the fact that I was showing interest in the trade. I was showing interest in the field, and that I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn HMI SCADA. I wanted to learn about, just programming. I wanted to be able to troubleshoot the programming. 'Cause some people don't know what they're doing. So, if you're watching this video and you know what I'm talking about. So, um, I took a I took one of these control devices home with me and I just played around with the thing. I figured it out and I came back to my boss. I'm like, look, I played around with this thing. I'm figuring it out. I'm really interested in that. Nothing. This guy just, could not tell if the house was made out of bricks. You know, it's just so frustrating. So anyway, what happened was they ran out of work for me to do. So they put me on part-time work, and then I had to move on. I moved on into a company that manufactured uh, fiberglass paper. Now, fiberglass paper gets everywhere. It gets all over the back of your neck. It gets all over the front of your neck. It gets all over your face, and it itches, and it's just there. It's not going away. So what ended up happening was I got fired from that job. My boss and I did not get along too well. In fact, I pointed out an electrical fire hazard, and then 15 minutes later, he pulls the plug on me. And I'm thinking to myself, I was just so angry. I was so pissed off. I was so angry. I didn't do anything wrong. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fight something like that. I didn't know. So, so I went home and I told my wife once again that I got fired. And that was hard because within the space of the 12 years that we've been married, I've probably been fired from like 10 jobs. Guys, it's not easy going to your wife and saying, I've failed us again. My wife was working at a dreadful job. She was in a manufacturing plant herself, and it was nothing but toxic chemicals. She hated it there. Now I got fired, and she hated it even more. And I heard it every single day. What ended up happening, I graduated from, well, no, wait, hold on. Hold on. No, I'm backtracking. So, moving forward, I got into a security systems job, started doing really well, and the respect never showed up. Just never did. It seemed like no matter what I did to please my wife, she was never happy. There's a book that's called The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It talks about how people interpret love in their own way, in a specific way. You got acts of service, you have um, giving of gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, and quality time. I knew that my wife's love language is quality time and acts of service. When I do those two things, she feels the most loved. The problem is that I would give her these things, and then I would not get it back. Not in the way that made me feel loved, that made me feel respected. See, what happens is that we would have arguments, mostly about money. Terrible thing to argue about. Money, potential, that's all it is. So we would argue about money, and then she would call her mom. So she'd call her mom, like right in the heat of the argument. And I'm like, can't we just work this out ourselves? And can't we just like calm down without like screaming at each other? And there's only a certain point like I can actually handle before I lose it. I just can't do it. I can't argue with people and then start yelling at them. It's just really, really bad. I just can't do it. So what ended up happening was that we separated. Right now, my wife is up in upstate New York, and I came back to Massachusetts, South Coast Massachusetts, to spend the winter with my mom because I had nowhere else to go. Upstate New York, I didn't have one single friend up there. Not one. We were socially just cut off from people. We didn't have any friends. We had we had family, her mom and her brother. I got along really well with her brother and her dad. I could communicate with those people just fine. I could not communicate with her mom. We just don't think the same. She wants to think money is evil. You know, why do you get $500,000 in your bank account? So, I don't know. So we just always clashed. So, what ended up happening was now I'm in this phase of I can't predict exactly what's going to happen. But guys, all I know is that if you're in a hostile environment, if when she opens the door and you're getting extremely stressed out, like it's burning in you, that she's gonna open her mouth because there's crumbs on the table, there's crumbs on the kitchen countertop. You know what I mean? Or there's something small and stupid, but she explodes. She has like this short fuse over it. You know, if your relationship is that toxic, where that's the norm. We tried to get counseling, and my wife's response was, I don't need counseling. I have all the answers. Okay. Okay. That's how you're gonna look at it. So we separated. And even that we actually did try to go to counseling twice, and it didn't work. You know, it didn't work. She doesn't understand the give your husband reverence, give your husband respect, as it says clearly in the Bible. She says, I don't understand that. I heard her say that in the counseling session. She's like, I don't understand that. She's like, I don't understand what that means. But, so, if your wife is getting counsel from somebody who's been divorced 3 times, you're not going to get any results. You're not going to get the results that you actually want. It's just going to get worse. If you're arguing, if you're yelling, you may not be physically hurting each other, but if you're starting to think about it, or you want to throw things, dude, just get out of the house. Go to even a friend's house. You know, if your family is like halfway across the country, just go to them. The best thing you can do is picture yourself 6 months from now, aiming for a specific goal. Do you see your wife in the picture? Do you see your wife supporting you? Do you see your wife wanting to be with you, thinking about you, sharing your vision, sharing your outlook on life? Do you see yourself? You know what I'm saying? Bro, come on. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. You gotta make them, you gotta man up. You gotta make the manly decision. And you gotta say to yourself, I gotta cut myself off from the source of all stress. It's perfectly legal to just like separate and just like separate. Now, even the Bible says that it's good that a man be reunited with his wife. You know, meaning it's okay to be separated. So, guys, if that's where you're at, where things are so bad, where your wife doesn't respect you, and she just deliberately, in front of her family, mocks you, puts you down, calls you names, everything in the book. Calls her mom like right after an argument. Just get away from her. Alright guys, love you. See you on the next video. My name is Ricky Burrows. Like and subscribe. I'll see you later.